जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर दासी। गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर दारी। यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारि। यमुना तीरा वनचारि। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर दासी। यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारि। यमुना तीरा वनचारि। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा रास बिहारी राधा रास बिहारी राधे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय राधा माधव राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय गोपाल देवा गोपाल देवा जय गोपाल देवा। जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा देवी जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा देवी। जय सुदर्शन जय सुदर्शन। जय निताय सखी सुत निताय सखी सुत निताय सखी सुत निताय सखी सुत। जय पांडुरंग विठ्ठल हरि हरि बोल। पांडुरंग विठ्ठल हरि हरि बोल। जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान। सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान। जय तुलसी महारानी जय वृंदे देवी, जय तुलसी महारानी जय वृंदे देवी, जय छठ गोस्वामी जय गुरु परंपरा, छठ गोस्वामी जय गुरु परंपरा, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद गुरुदेव, जय जय श्रीपाद। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन होलीनेस भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर स्वामी महाराज की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरण रविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। जय बोलो मथुरा धाम की जय। द्वारका धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। पंढरपुर धाम की जय। गंगा मई की जय। यमुना मई की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। जय बोलो हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र मंदिर की जय। गोपाल जी मंदिर की जय। शिला श्रीपद महाराज समाधि मंदिर की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So Prabhu, can you put the words on the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
So before I begin, let me, on behalf of Bhakti Veda Institute, welcome you all for this Saturday morning's discussion on this transcendental literature, Srimad Bhagavatam. I seek the blessings and prayers from all of you so that I'm able to speak something that is useful, meaningful, and purposeful for this particular verse today. We are going to discuss on Canto 9, Chapter 10, and today we are going to discuss on verse number 19. So this is the meter of Brahma Samhita. So we can recite it as like this. Tamya dudhana pratanam asishula chapa प्राशाष्टिशक्तिशरतोमरकद्गदुर्गाम् सुग्रीवलक्ष्मणमरुत्सुतगन्धमाधर नीलाङ्गदर्क्षपनसादिभिरन्वितोगत्. तां यातु धानप्रतनाम् असि शूलचापा प्रशार्ष्टिशक्तिशरतोमरकद्गदुर्गम् सुग्रीवलक्ष्मणमरुत्सुतगन्धमाध sorry, yeah. नीलाङ्गधार्क्षपनशादिभिरन्वितो तां यातु धानप्रतनाम् असि शूलचाप प्राशार्ष्टिशक्तिशरतोमरकद्गदुर्गाम् सुग्रीवलक्ष्मणमरुत्सुतगन्धमाध नीलाङ्गदर्शपनशादिभिरन्वितो Yes, anybody would like to recite this?
Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please.
Tam yadudana pratanamasi sulachapa prasashti sakti sara tomaragat gadurgam sugriva lakshmana marutsuta gandhamada neelangadaksha panasadibir anvitogat. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Mataji. Thank you. Yes, Anusha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavan pronouns. Ramya Dodana Pratanamasi Chola Chapa Prasarshti Shakti Saratomara Kadgadurgam Sugriva Lakshmana Marutsuta Gandhamadha Neelangadaksha Panasadi Viranvitovat.
Very nice. Very nice. Anybody else would like to recite? Beautiful verse. Okay. Otherwise, we'll go to word by word meaning. Tam, all of them. Yatu Dana Pratanam, the soldiers of Rakshasas. Asi, by swords. Shula, by lances. Chapa, by bows. Prasarshti, prasa weapons and rishti weapons. Shakti Shara, Shakti arrows. Tomara weapons. Kadga, by a type of sword. Durgam, all invincible. Sugriva, by the monkey named Sugriva. Lakshmana, by Lord Ramchandra's younger brother. Marutsuta, by Hanuman. Gandhamada, by Gandhamada, another monkey. Neela, by the monkey named Neela. Angada, Angada. Riksha, Panasa, Adibihi, and by other soldiers. Anvitaha, being surrounded, Lord Ramchandra. Agad came in front of, for the sake of fighting. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Lord Ramchandra, surrounded by Lakshmana and monkey soldiers like Sugriva, Hanuman, Gandhamada, Neela, Angada, Jambavan, and Panasa, attacked the soldiers of Rakshasas who were fully equipped with various invincible weapons like swords, lances, bows, prasas, rishtis, shakti arrows, kadgas, and tomaras. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुव एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिस्वरूपदामोदर स्वामिन् एते नामिनि। नमस्सद्भक्तमनये मणिपुरोद्भवाय च शिला प्रभुपादलसतवाणी प्रचारिणे रतायते। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् एते नामिनि। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाये तदालिये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणीं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचंद्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताये पते नमः। So, Hare Krishna everyone, and once again welcoming you all on behalf of Bhaktivedanta Institute. And today in today's verse there is no purport. So I will try to share whatever I have heard from other sources, from the various seniors. Actually Valmiki's Ramayana gives so much in detail, and here we have to, in this limited time, we have to speak on this particular episode, which is basically Lord Ramchandra's army, hmm, comprising of monkeys and bears. They are trying to take the might of Ravana's mighty army, who are well equipped. So in this way, we'll continue to discuss the wonderful pastimes of the Lord. Hmm? Even in a brief manner, also it is good, because Sukdev Goswami is describing it in brief because Parikshit Maharaj has limited time in his hand, and also, as he says in the before to Parikshit Maharaj, that you have heard this pastimes several times. So, but still, because Parikshit Maharaj is interested to hear, he is sharing it in a like a nutshell. And in the process, along with Parikshit Maharaj's quest, for Lord's name, Rupa, Guna, and Leela, that increases, because if there is Nam, then there has to be Rupa. And if there is Rupa, then there has to be Guna, qualities. And if there is Nam, Rupa, Guna, then there has to be Leela. So by trying to absorb or immerse into this Leela, there is a hope that we might get at least a small taste of a drop of a nectar, hmm, of this Leela. And then in the process, we can advance in our bhakti. And besides, of course, by sharing with one another, you know, we are relishing it. Tushyanti cha, ramanti cha, machita mat gata prana, bodhayanta parasparam. So what we are doing is now is bodhayanta parasparam. And by discussing it, we are trying to relish, because how many number of times we discuss about Lord's pastime, we never get, our senses will never get satiated. That is a guarantee. We go on, want to hear more and more, more and more, and so on. And then, which each time when we hear something new, realization also comes in our heart. Automatically, the Lord will give you some new realizations. And with that, more window opens. And with more window opening, more relishment comes. And then with the people whom we share, they may come with their realization. That opens a window. So every person who is hearing the Lord's pastimes will be automatically endowed and empowered to get some realization, and that is a boon for all of us when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam Katha. So here we see that there seems to be like a battle of unequals or non-equals. The soldiers of Lord Ramchandra just picked from the jungle, comprising of monkeys, bears, squirrels, and all that. And there is in no way they can compare with Ravana's soldiers or Ravana's might. In fact, they are not even aware of how to fight. They are not even aware of what sort of weapons the enemy camp has. Hmm? Here in this verse, there's a mention what sort of weapons they were carrying. That is the enemy camp, Ravana's side. What they were carrying was, it says, Prashasti, Shakti Shara, Tomara, Kadga. These are all different kinds of sophisticated weapons, and they are all Durgam. Durgam means it is invincible. And we also know, but besides these kind of weapons, Indrajit himself possessed what is called as Nagapash. Nagapash is like a snake missile, weapon like a snake missile. He had flying chariots, whereas these monkeys and bears, they had nothing of these sorts. All that they could do is maybe pick up some stones and throw. Maybe there's some mountain peaks, some trees, twigs. Well, that's all they can throw. What else can they throw? The squirrels can throw some dust. Is there any comparison between the two sides? Of course, Lord Ramchandra and Lakshmana had bow and arrow, but that's it. The rest of the soldiers were virtually, you can say, defenseless. So, therefore, in one sense, this war between two unmatched sides. Hmm? And the other thing that we have to keep in mind is that uh, this battle took place where? In Ravana's home ground. It was not in Ayodhya, it was in Lanka. So that is Ravana's home ground strength. He knows every nook and corner because he has built the entire nation, Swarna Lanka. It's like the battle between Gajendra and crocodile took place in the water. And water is the home ground of crocodile. So therefore, over a period of time, when the battle was going on between Gajendra and crocodile, Gajendra's strength was gradually getting reduced, and the crocodile strength was gradually getting increased because it was the home ground, it was underwater. So, thus we can say that everything in this battle seems to be favoring I mean, not Ravana's army. They're so used to saying Lord, Lord, Lord for that automatically Lord is coming for everyone. But Ravana definitely doesn't deserve to be said Lord. So Dushta Ravan's enemy. In fact, even in we can draw some parallels with Mahabharata. Even in Mahabharata, the battle between Pandavas and Kauravas was unmatched. Where is five people versus 100? Five of Kauravas and hundreds of so five of Pandavas and hundreds of Kauravas. So in both instances, we see that Lord's army, that is Krishna's army in Mahabharata and Lord Ramchandra's army, they look like underdogs. They didn't look like favorites. They look like underdogs. But yet they beat the more powerful opposition or enemies so easily and very handsomely also. So does it mean that the enemy's camp was weaker? Does it mean that they did not have any proper things? No, they had everything. The enemy camp had great generals. They had great warriors to fight. In fact, Ravana and Indrajit had so much of mystic power that they could easily invoke any one of the Ashtasiddhis that they possessed at will. Anima, Lagima, Mahima, Garima, Prapti, and all those things. Prakrama, Ishitava, Vashitava, and all that, whatever is there. Everything they could just at will they could invoke it. In fact, out of this kind of mystic power, Ravana even built a staircase in gold up to the heavenly planets, Indraloka. And Srila Prabhupada says in one of the lectures that Ravana even built a tunnel up to present day Brazil to smuggle more gold. He saw that there was more gold there. So imagine where is Lanka and where is Brazil. He built a tunnel, it seems. So, but despite all that, it looked that there was some distress for Ravana because, when you possess so much and when you consider all the possession as your own, there is always a fear of losing it one day. So both the sides, when they were fighting, the action part of it is matching. This side also wants to fight, this side also wants to fight. The action wise, they're matching. But where they are differing big time is the intention. Ravana's army had wrong or bad intention. Duryodhana's army had wrong or bad intention. The intention was wrong. So one side was fighting for the sake of the Lord. Other side was fighting against the Lord. So the intention is different. Both are fighting, but the intention is completely different. The side that was fighting for the sake of Lord, their intention was to give pleasure to the Lord. And the side that was fighting against the Lord was to give pleasure to themselves, their own senses. Atmendra Priti Vancha, Tari Bole Kama. So that means this self sense gratification, it always tries to manifest as an outcome of lust or greed. Then you can say hunger for power, anger. All this actually will lead you to Atmendriya Priti. And the other side, which was fighting to please the senses of the Lord, was Krishnendriya Priti Icha. So that comes out of love, humility, surrender, all those kind of things. So this Atmendriya Priti leads to distress because it is not permanent. You may get temporary happiness, but at the end of the day, because you try to please your own senses, you will not be happy eternally. Pumsa Atma Viparya. Pumsa Atma Viparya means you will basically, it is a distress that is arising out of wrong self-identification. It's a identification based on contaminated consciousness. When the consciousness is contaminated, we try to make wrong identification about ourselves. In fact, Srila Prabhupada makes a nice, gives a nice analogy in the purport of the third canto, 7th chapter, 10th verse, 3, 7, 10, where he says that when a materially contaminated conscious person, the situation is similar to the experience of having one's head chopped off in the dream. In the dream, when we see that our head is chopped off, the funniest part is our head is chopped off, and yet we are seeing that head in the dream also that is getting chopped off. But in reality, when the head is chopped off, our vision will not be there. We lose the power to see. So where is the question of seeing ourselves? But in the dream, we see that, Prabhupada says, so therefore, it's like a hallucination. Something that is not existing, but you are imagining it is there. So Atmendriya Tripti are the people who are not realizing that they are the eternal associate of the Lord, but they are more attached to the artificial nature coming up from the association of the modes of material nature, that I am powerful, I'm all powerful, I am all richness,
Good
I have
morning.
got complete knowledge. Please mute yourself. Somebody is on unmute, so it's coming. The voice is coming. So that pravrti is Ravana pravrti. That is to associate with the external energy of the Lord, Maya, and then to imagine that I am that, which is not. That is illusion, Maya. Prabhupada also gives a nice example in that same third canto, 7th chapter, 10th or 11th verse. He says the moon is actually fixed, okay, and it is beautiful. But when you see the reflection in the water, the ripples from the water gives you a feeling that the moon is trembling, because the association now is with references with respect to the water. So similarly, when the self starts associating with matter, then it appears as if it is qualified with matter, along with matter. So everything, including the body, our power, opulence, strength, all this are associated with matter. And the soul, which is actually pure, but since the soul is now associating with this kind of matter, it is also seeing the pain which are associated with the material problems. And thus, through the senses, we get what is called as pain and distress. In reality, the soul has nothing to do with the activities of the Lord, with the activities of the body, which are related to matter. So, in one sense, the soul becomes a victim of, or you can say, innocent victim of the situation which is governed by the modes of material nature. Whereas when the pure consciousness, completely, that is when we take more association of pure souls, the consciousness becomes pure, and the pure state, we get the realization that what is our real position. The real position is not related to body. Our real position is Jivera Swarupave Krishnera Nityadas. We are eternally subordinate of the Lord. Therefore, we are eternally at the mercy of the Lord. So therefore, this is a reality. That is our pravrti. Ravana pravrti is a reality in this material world. And we need to slowly come out of this pravrti by slowly detaching ourselves from this external energy of Maya. Because even the external energy is here to stay in the material world. So we have to find a solution. And the solution is not the path taken by the jnanis or yogis. They will also progress, but the progress will be so slow that you imagine now, if you're following the Ashtanga Yoga principle of Yama, Niyam, Asan, then Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, it's a very long process. And after all that hardship, what will happen is we'll get more puffed up, because we will achieve the yogic power, mystic power, Siddhi all this Anima, Lagima, Mahima, Garima, all those things will come. And then we'll start in the puffed up mode, we start thinking that we are like God. So in this sense, the desires will also manifest, Kami. Whereas Krishna Bhakta is Nishkama. Ateva is Shanta. He's always peaceful. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kami, Shakala, Ashanta. All these methods, even Jnanis, they will be after so much of knowledge, but it will ultimately lead them to the principle of just understanding that I am Brahman. Just have to merge with the Supreme Lord. There is no concept of bhakti, devotional service. As we see in the case of Shaubri Muni, he did tapasya under Yamuna for several years, several hundreds of years. And he was getting realization. Suddenly he saw two fishes copulating, and then his senses got agitated. Instantly he came out and he approached the king Mandata, and he says, "Can I marry one of your daughters?" But look, because he was looking very old at that time, he felt that he may not be qualified for marriage. Then once again, through yogic powers, he renewed his body in terms of youth power, and he started looking very handsome. And then what happened was, instead of getting one daughter, he got all the 50 daughters of Mandata king, and he married them all to have children from them. So this is a classic case of someone who practiced Ashtanga Yoga principle and achieved the Siddhi, but yet he fell victim to Maya. So how does one cross this? Bhakti is the only way. Bhakti is the only way. Bhakti means surrender. Daivi Haisha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratya. Maya is very difficult to overcome, Lord says. Only Mam Evaye Prapadyante Mayam Etam Tarantite. Only if you surrender to me, Lord says, you have a chance to cross this Maya. That's why we say Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Eva Kevalam. 3 times, no? Only by chanting the name, only by associating with the Nam automatically brings in Rupa, Guna, Leela, everything. So it sounds very simple, to get a spiritual solution to all our material problems. But how do we practice it? The Lord says that, somebody who practices devotional service, he immediately awards them mercy. Vasudeva Anukampaya. The mercy of Vasudeva comes immediately. If somebody is Bhagavad Bhakti Yogena, that means somebody who is practicing devotional service, automatically, he'll be, the distress part will gradually will be diminished. And each and every sense that we have, Rishikesha Sevanam, like Amrish Maharaj, every sense he used only for the service of the Lord, to please the Lord. That bhakti is Uttamam. So therefore, Maitri Muni in the 3rd canto advises Vidur that Ashesha Sanklesha Samam Vidate Gunanuvada Shravana Murare. That means Ashesha means this is unlimited. Sanklesha, ocean of miseries. So we all have Ashesha Sanklesha, unlimited ocean of miseries. And when we just engage in the Gunanuvada Shravanam of Murare, that is Krishna, then what happens? Automatically we start getting the material distress starts going away. Gradually it goes away. So this is just sadhana bhakti. Then he says, what to speak of the person who has achieved bhav bhakti? Kimba punas tach charna ravinda paraga seva ratir atma labda. Atma labda. That means somebody who has achieved this, the rarity of relishing Lord's lotus feet. So the attraction one when gets by serving the Lord's lotus feet is immeasurable. And that is a rarity. So if we take association of such people who are pure souls, then we are guaranteed to cleanse our consciousness. So therefore, Lord's bona fide representatives who are pure devotees, Paraga Seva Ratir. So we have to do service to them so that we enjoy Rati. We get the attraction. Because these souls are actually they are actually always situated in Vaikunta. They are always Vaikunta Vartamasu. That means they are always walking in the path of Vaikunta. So when we associate with them, because of their mercy, they are always in singing the glories of the Lord. Yatropa giyate nityam, always. That is how we can satisfy the senses of the Lord. By serving such devotees, you please Krishna. Krishnendra Priti Icha. Tare Prema Nama. And then after Maitri Muni gives all this gyan to Vidura, Vidura also responds in a positive way. He says that now that I've understood everything, I'm also experiencing certain realization. So this conviction that we have, so right now we are in a stage of conviction, or even before conviction. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti is practice. Then we come to a stage of realization. So our Vidura tells Maitri Muni that service converts this conviction into realization. And he goes on to say that when we serve a spiritual master, that yat sevaya, then two kinds of experience one can have. Two kinds of experience. One is there is a spontaneous attraction, transcendental ecstasy to the various mellows of the Lord. We will experience that. The various rasas of the Lord we will experience. And then also it dispels the material distress. It actually chops off. It vanquishes the material distress. So these two things happen to a realized person. Until such time that such kind of realization has not yet come into our hearts, it means that we haven't commenced our real service. We are doing bhakti all right. We are in the path of bhakti. But when we commence our real service, these two things will happen. Therefore, it is said that service is a rarity. It is a rarity. So, two criteria are important to ensure that this service is available to us easily. We have to follow the path of the Mahajans. Mahajano yeno katasa pantaha. And we have to keep this bhakti, like bhakti means you have to perform with an attachment to the Lord, attachment to Guru, Sri Guru. It should not be like a mundane ritualistic thing. That becomes like a karmi kind of thing. But we are doing bhakti. Bhakti means always an attachment. And then sincerity also is required. Sincerity till the end of our life. Then Krishna will fulfill what we lack. Yogakshemam vahamyam. Whatever we lack, he will take care of that. So artificially we cannot try to stop our material activities. We are bound by the laws of this three modes of material nature. So artificially we cannot. Artificially, if you stop, the propensity will still remain, and sometime else it will start manifesting. Like Prabhupada gives an example that artificially, if you try to stop a mischievous child, that is not a real remedy. The child must be given some alternative, or something like a better engagement. Then he will stop automatically the mischievous activities. So in this way, our mischievous activities of the senses, which are attached to the materialistic world, can be stopped only when we are engaged in some better engagement. And better engagement can only be in relation to the Supreme. param drishtva nivartate. When we experience a higher taste, and automatically the lower taste will vanish. Like how Srila Prabhupada wonderfully converted all these hippies on the streets into devotees, because he gave them the higher taste. So higher taste when we experience will now this journey will not be smooth because Krishna will test us at all times. He will give us pariksha tests. So difficulties will come, calamities will come, and we have to be prepared for all that. We can be prepared only if you see the goal. If you have to go to Vrindavan and suppose your train breaks down, you will look for some alternative, some other train to go. Then you reach a destination, then you'll try to go by bus or car or auto, tuk-tuk, whatever. Somehow you'll find a way. Difficulties will be there. Maybe in your tuk-tuk, there are 1 dozen people sitting. So that is a difficulty. We are not used to that. But because our goal is to go to Vrindavan, and meet the sadhus there, serve them, we will ignore all these things. So similarly, Krishna will test at all times. And the testing will be in such a way that he will do special favors in such a way that he will slowly take away your opulence also. He may slowly take away your wealth also. Yasyaham anugrahanami, he says, harishye tad dhanam shanehi. So he will slowly take away your dhanam. And then what happens? He will make you poverty stricken. Tato adhanam. And then everybody else will, keep away from you. Tajanti asya swajana. That means even your own kids and kins, your relatives, everybody will abandon you because you are a poverty stricken person now. You will undergo one dukkha dukkam. Dukkha dukkita. Difficulties after difficulty. But this is considered as the Lord says special favor. So here we see in Lord Ramchandra's case also, even though he's a supreme Lord, he's above all these kind of difficulties and the problems, but yet he showed us by enacting it. Didn't he have difficulties? Didn't he lose all the opulence? Didn't he lose all the wealth? Wasn't he banished to the exile to the forest? Didn't he, and along with his brother and wife, consort, wear the tree bark and go to the jungle? Then they walk in the thorn path of the jungle. How much difficulty they've undergone. So actually, whatever the Lord says, he has shown it by himself. He has walked the talk. That's a leader. A leader is somebody who shows the way, goes the way. So he walks the talk. So thus by remembering his leelas, gunas, everything, our unlimited miserable conditions will slowly go away. So Ravana's army, let's remember, despite all the whatever strength they were carrying, they also carried the burden of 2 curses. You remember in the last class when I gave, we discussed the 2 curses Ravana received. What was that? One was from Vedavati, that is Sita herself. In the previous life, she was Vedavati. Because Ravana tried to rob her of her modesty, she cursed him. After doing, before doing self-immolation, she cursed him. I will come back in another life and I will be the cause of your destruction. So this is one curse. Other curse was one of the kings in Ayodhya, Ravana just for fun battled and killed him. So he also cursed. He said, from my own kula, from my own citizens, one person will come and he will be the cause of your death. You have disturbed the peace of my kingdom. So these two already burden Ravana is carrying with him, and as a result, Ravana's army is also carrying. Now additional burden. What is additional burden? Because Mother Sita has been kept imprisoned in Ashoka Vatika, and she is in terrible distress. because she's been separated from her Lord Ramchandra. No, she's praying. So her chastity is her purity. When a woman is chaste, that purity can burn an opposition into ashes, it is said. So chastity is purity. So here we understand that the so-called weaker camp of Lord Ramchandra, comprising of monkeys, were simply able to kill by throwing stones and trees through their empowered Shakti. They were empowered, Daiva Shakti. Whereas Ravana's men were not empowered. Ravana's men were depending on their own Shakti, which is called as Purushakara Shakti. So there are two types of Shakti that we can, first one is Daiva Shakti, where we are empowered. This comes from degree of surrender. Other one is you rely on your own intelligence, on your own ability, Purushakara Shakti. And Daiva Shakti is definitely being transcendental, is more powerful. Typically, the materialistic world, the materialistic person always depends upon his own intelligence, on his own, Shakti. He thinks he can win with anybody. Therefore, what Krishna instructed to Arjuna, he said, Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha. That means when you are fighting, you just remember me, O Arjuna. Think of me and fight. Mam Anusmara. So when we do any activity remembering the Lord, then we are bound to get success. Victory will bow down before us. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanudara, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Tir Matir Mama. So victory is guaranteed for such a person. So that is what we learn from this episode. These monkeys, bears, and squirrels were fighting from Lord Ramchandra. They were not ordinary souls. They were extraordinary souls in those bodies. Lord beautifully engaged them in the service because it was their desire also, and they were happy to give away their lives, executing the order, the will of the Lord for helping to save His kingdom, and thereby they could go back home, back to Godhead. How did Shabari please Lord Ramchandra? Just by offering berries which he had actually tasted. This was love. Vidurani pleased Krishna through offering the banana peels. It was purely love. On the other hand, Duryodhan was trying to please the Lord by offering Chappan Bhog. But did the Lord accept it? There's a famous Brajabhasha song. Duryodhan, what is that? Duryodhan ko bhog na khayo. Duryodhan ka bhog na khayo. Ruk shak vidure gar jayo. Or vidure gar khayo. So he didn't eat this, but he ate that. Aise prema pujari Radhe Sham, 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 Sham. See, the Lord only wants love. He doesn't want your opulence. What our opulence can match compared to Him. In fact, when Lord was in Dwaraka and He was fed, all the time in golden plates, He was remembering His pastimes of Vrindavan, where the elderly gopis used to offer Him Makan Mishri out of love. That is what He enjoyed. With all over this mouth, it was pure love. It was not a sophisticated way of eating in the golden plate. So sometimes by just offering a flower to the Lord, the way like Gajendra offered flower to the Lord gets pleased. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. And the rich person will think that I'll offer a nice golden throne, a golden crown, or whatever. The Lord doesn't look at that. He looks at your intention. He looks at what your bhav is, your love. Advaita Acharya could invoke and bring in the Lord just by worshipping with Tulsi, his Shaligram Silas, Tulsi and Jal, Ganga water, because his intention was right. Similarly, when Lord went to South India and he saw that the Brahmana was reading the Bhagavad Gita upside down, but tears were flowing, he immediately embraced him. He said, you have understood everything. On the other hand, Keshav Kashmiri, was a scholar. He knew everything, was a scholar. But the Lord did not appreciate it. He defeated him as a little Nimai. Therefore, Prabhupada always maintained a simplicity. If you see Srila Prabhupada's Kirtan, they're very simple, melodious Kirtan. It is not like, somebody who knows all the ragas of Hindustani classic music. No, simple music. And use all the instruments, kartal, mridanga, in a very simple way. Because that is pleasing Krishna. And pleasing Krishna is what matters. Intention. So every activity that we do must be dovetailed, or intention must only to be to please Krishna. Yat karosi, yat yasnasi, yat josi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushasva madarpanam. So whatever we do, it should be like an arpanam to the Lord. So this was the mood of Ram Sena. And thus they pleased the Lord and they emerged victorious, or beyond the victory sign. Ramachandra Raghuveera, Ramachandra Ranadira, Ramachandra Raghuveera, Ramachandra Ranadira, Ramachandra Raghunatha, Ramachandra Jagannatha. Ramachandra Raghunatha, Ramachandra Jagannatha, Ramachandra Mama Bandhu, Ramachandra Dayasindhu, Ramachandra Mama Bandhu, Ramachandra Dayasindhu. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. If there are any questions or comments, please come forward. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. And so now it's I would like to invite our devotees if they have any questions, queries, additions. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Anusha Mataji has raised her hand. So, yes, Mataji, please unmute yourself and.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much for the nectarian lecture, Prabhuji. You had mentioned that service is a rarity. So could you please throw some light on it? And with your permission, I just want to share a few points, which 4 or 5 points actually, which was really enlightening, Prabhuji, from the remnants of your Vani. Firstly, you had mentioned how God is always simple, the simplicity in terms of his weapons, be it, he didn't have any opulent weapons with him. He came in a simple form, and you drew parallels with that of the God and his devotees. The devotees also had simple weapons with them, and Prabhupada also used simple tunes. Everything was simple, and the home ground advantage that you mentioned was same to that of Ravana, the Kauravas, and Prabhupada also went out of his home to preach that, Prabhuji. And artificially, you cannot chop material miseries. And soul is an innocent victim of material contamination and the misidentification that we make. And the actual thing is Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. And how, if our goal is clear, even if difficulties after difficulties come, we can progress. Thank you so much for these points, Prabhuji.
So, service to Krishna, service to pure devotees is a rarity. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaunam Janmanam Ante Jnanamam Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma So Durlabha. Okay, so one can become a Jnanavan, one can become a yogi. That is awarded easily, because in material world everybody looks for self-satisfaction. That is the nature of the conditioned souls, and the nature of pure souls who is removed from all this conditioning is not self-satisfaction, but to satisfy the senses of the Lord. So that is a rarity. So that actually, to understand this small point, what Krishna is saying in this Bhavanam Janmanam Ante, it takes lives and millions of trillions of lives, because nobody surrenders. Surrendering is basically surrendering your will to Krishna's will. Whereas we are so conditioned that we are interested in carrying out our will. We are trying to become mini lordships, because we want to lord over the material nature. That's the reason we are in the material world, because we desire to be so. We want to enact the activities of the Lord. We wanted to compare ourselves with Him. We wanted to compete with Him. So all that desires manifested since eternal time has actually resulted in us being born in this material world lifetime after lifetime. That's why Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante. So the difficulty is in surrendering, the real surrendering. What we are all doing now is just we are praying, but ultimately our intention is that we should be, successful in this, we should be successful in that, in our own endeavors, material activities. That is Mishra Bhakti. It is not pure Bhakti. So pure Bhakti is basically giving our everything to the Lord. Lord, you are my, complete controller, realizing it. One is having the knowledge, other one is to realize that. So when we realize that, Jnanam, Vijnanam, that becomes rarity. So if we realize that, then that mood when we serve, that service is rarity. Otherwise, the service that we are doing now, that is available to anybody. But the service rarity in service is serving in that particular mood. So that is what actually I meant by saying rarity of service. And this is mentioned in the third canto. Actually, if you go to the third canto, I think in the 7th chapter, it is mentioned rarity of service. This is a realization of Vidura. During Maitreya Muni and Vidura Samvad, it goes on for such a long time, where Maitreya Muni is giving all. Vidura is already, of course, a pure soul, but he likes to hear, and then ultimately he gets his own realization. So at that time, he says, there's a rarity in service. Okay, Mataji, does this clarify your doubt?
Very much, Prabhu. Thank you so much. And also, chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita was summarized actually during the class. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Any
thank you,
more
Mataji.
questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
The age of Ravan is he much elder than Sri Ram, right? Like as you told that sister of Ramji has also faced Ravan. So
Yeah,
he's much.
Ravan was definitely quite elderly. Ravan was an elderly person. And so, whereas Ramchandra was just coronated as a king, and then immediately he was vanquished, banished to the forest. So he was, maybe not that, he was quite young. So Ravan was definitely much elder, because Indrajit and all these sons were also quite, elderly. Quite, when Vibhishan,
Yes.
Kumbhakarna, they were all quite, yeah.
Mhm. Okay, okay, bro.
So any other questions? I just saw that Maharaj also has joined, Nilambar Maharaj. Maharaj ji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. If you have any suggestions to make, please feel free. I don't know whether he was present throughout, but I just saw him.
हाँ प्रभु जय जगन्नाथ
Jai Jagannath Maharaj, Jai Jagannath.
बहुत अच्छा है। आज वोटिंग है तो हमारा खड़गपुर में।
अच्छा, आप खड़गपुर में हैं?
हाँ पे
ओके ओके। तो आपका कोई
ठीक है
प्रश्न या कुछ आप सुझाव है क्या महाराज?
नहीं तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, हमको याद रखते।
थैंक यू वेरी मच
ठीक है,
महाराज।
जय
धन्यवाद।
जय।
धन्यवाद, प्रणाम, जय जगन्नाथ। Okay, Radha Govind Prabhu, if there are no questions, shall we close for the day?
Yes, yes, sure.
So, wanted to thank each and every of you, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, for being so attentive and patient and motivating me to speak something. Vancha kalpaturu vescha kripa sindhu bevacha padita naam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti vaishnavindi ki jai, Shri
Yeah,
Bhagavatam ki jai, Gandharaj
yeah,
Srimad Bhagavatam की जय, पतित पावन शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, पतित पावन
yeah.
शिल गुरुदेव की जय, बीआई भक्ति
जय
वृंद की। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Shri Shyamchandra Prabhu ki jai.
Shri Sripad Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you all the devotees in Vaishnavas, Maharajas. Hare Krishna. Karnataka.